It was no joke. I was struggling. I was struggling in my career. I was struggling to be the mom that I wanted to be the wife that I wanted to be. I was very easily stressed, overwhelmed. I was an emotional mess. I would come home in the afternoons and sometimes I would hide in the bathroom and just cry. And then I would let it all out. I'd give myself a pep talk in the mirror and be like, get out there. And you go do all the mom things that you're just supposed to do. So I was just sad. I was struggling, getting in my own head, and typically that's not me. Normally I'm happy and I'm bubbly and excited, and so they prescribed me medications. I couldn't take them. I didn't like the way it made me feel. So I just didn't. I just learned to cope with it and did the best I could do. As time went on, I did learn to cope, but I never dealt with being overwhelmed and stressed the same as I did prior to having my second child. And so I felt stuck. I felt stuck in a routine of just prepping everything to get ready for the next day, just to do it all over again. And so I just kept telling my husband, like, there's gotta be something more. Like, life is not supposed to be this busy routine, always stressed, always overwhelmed, doing this, doing that, waking up, doing it on repeat. Like, there's got to be more. There's got to be something else. And so I was praying. I was praying every day for help. I needed something. We could not continue going on like that. And so I wanted to enjoy the little moments, being a mom, the little moments being, with my kids and not just always being snappy and overwhelmed. So this brings me to my son. Why was I also sitting here talking about being always stressed out? So my son's a blessing to my family. We prayed for him. He was planned. He brings a lot of smiles and laughter, but also huge challenges. Don't let that cute little face. He's like 5 kids in one. He is extra special. I've been knowing since he was 2. So his sensory processing is unlike most. He is extremely hyperactive. He has a very loud voice. He never stops talking. He cannot focus. He doesn't ever stop moving, and he gets very frustrated whenever he doesn't either get his way or if he gets stressed. He gets angry sometimes. And so that's a struggle as a mom, because you want to fix it, and there's no quick fix, right? Bedtime has always been a struggle with him. As he got older, actually he was a baby thinking about it now. He slept through the night. He was a good baby. But at some point it was really like sleeping all night. And getting him to go to sleep, since he was always just on the move. Like, I always say that he's on 100 from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to bed, and there is nothing in between that stops that. There is no off switch for him. And so that's a struggle when you're working full time and you have another kid. And I know I mentioned that I wrote curriculum for the district, but they dropped the 13-year curriculum I taught, and we had to start from scratch with all of these things going on with my son. So that was another stressor as well. But he would toss and turn all night long, and his brain couldn't go off, and neither one of us were getting sleep. I was seeing every other hour on the clock. It was just a struggle. When you don't have good quality sleep, nothing else works, right? We had lost our dog a few months prior to me finding Green Compass, and that is very important because that was my son's best friend. When I say best friend, I mean they were inseparable. And he struggled because he didn't understand death. He didn't understand why she wasn't there anymore. And he saw their empty chair, and their special chair, and all these things. So he developed severe separation anxiety. So I could not walk into another room without him freaking out. He would just scream, and tears rolling down his face. It would get red, and this just looked of terror in his eyes because I wasn't there, and he couldn't see me. He quit going on the back patio and swinging on his hammock that he likes to do because he always has to be in motion. So it was heartbreaking, and it was overwhelming. It added to all the other things that we already had going on. And so also during this time, he wasn't in therapy anymore. He was in occupational therapy. We had some insurance issues. So we had gone months with no therapy. The advances he made in therapy were no longer evident. His transition from daycare to the big school was a mess. He was not ready. The daily struggle was there, and I felt helpless. My 4-year-old needed help, and all I could do was pray. Then I started to see God move. Out of nowhere, he got approved for therapy. They opened up a session for him. It became available. And then the very next day, Green Compass fell into my lap. And I just knew, I just had that feeling that this is what I had been praying for. So she's right, I had no experience doing this. I didn't know anything about it. I just had a feeling it's what I had been praying for, so I signed up right away. I went all in. I hopped on my first Zoom meet, and Amber said something that I will never forget, and this is where I'm gonna cry. She said on the Zoom that she wakes up every morning praying that this would find somebody's help. That she would wake up and pray that somebody that needed help would find this. Well, I was waking up every morning praying for help. And so while she was praying that this would find somebody to help, I was praying for help. And when she said that, I got the chills and I just started crying on the Zoom, and I knew 110% this is where I was supposed to be. It has been the biggest blessing to my family in so many ways. I noticed changes right away. I know it takes some people a little time to get results, but for us, it was right away. I was sleeping better. My son started sleeping all through the night. That in itself should have been enough. He was falling asleep easier, so that was also a struggle as well, because mamas, y'all know, when they sleep, it's like, it's quiet time. But he wasn't tossing and turning throughout his sleep. It wasn't taking him hours to fall asleep anymore. He was sleeping all through the night. I was waking up feeling rested, so that was better in itself. I wasn't snappy with my students at this time. I was very snappy as a teacher with my students. My patience was gone. It wasn't thin, it just wasn't there. So those things changed. I saw the difference in the classroom and responding to my students. And so it was the little things that weren't getting to me anymore. Like, I felt great. I was happier. My afternoons were better. I handled my kids with more patience. I was a better mom. I was a better wife. And within 1 week, I had a lot less pain in my foot. I had this issue with my foot. For running in the wrong shoes for a few months. And within a week, I was no longer feeling any of that. And so it was really nice to feel like me again. Mentally, I wasn't overwhelmed. I wasn't crying in my bathroom, hiding from my family anymore. And everything just kind of started to click. Like, in some things, it wasn't even right away. I didn't notice it right away. My sister and I would sit down and talk, and I'm like, you know what? Those things aren't happening anymore. And I didn't realize it while it was happening. It took me a little while to look back and notice those differences. Wyatt started getting notes home about being calmer and more focused. The school counselor called me one day and asked what I did different, because they had a different child, and that he was completely compliant and calm. And I said, are you sure you called the right person? I was like, that's not my kid. And she was like, what did you do different? And I was like, well, I gave him CBD oil, ma'am. And she was like, okay, but we're gonna keep doing this, because he's in the office every day. And so I told her that I gave him the CBD oil, and the very next day, Wyatt earned his first stripe in jiu-jitsu. And that's why I chose this picture, because he had been in jiu-jitsu for 2 months, twice a week, and had never earned a stripe. They don't just give them, they make them truly earn them, even at war. And he never earned one, because he couldn't focus long enough to do what was being asked of him. And they weren't giving in, which I love, right? So by no means was he perfect. By no means is he perfect, but he was showing improvement. And so he earned another stripe the following week. And so here was my child going from being fussed every day in everything that he did to everybody telling him how proud they were of him. And so you could see that it boosted his self-confidence. And he was just happier. He's like, Mom, I got my stripe, and oh, they're so happy, they're so proud. And it was so heartwarming as a mom to see him go from literally fussed every day to now people praising him. Since he started his new pre-K class and his CBD, he's not been sent to the office daily, not being sent to the office daily. I'm not getting phone calls about his behavior. He comes home happier and excited about his day. Haircuts. Oh my gosh, haircuts were a nightmare. He has sensory issues, and it used to be a complete struggle to get him to sit in that chair. The hair falling on his neck made him freak out. I have to sit there with a blow dryer, which I still do. But with his sensory issues, he would scream, he would cry, he would have meltdowns. Now he smiles and laughs like he's with a blow dryer. That's the difference. He no longer freaks out when I walk into another room when he can't see me. That separation anxiety is gone. He has more focus, he has more self-control, and I can't stress enough how much it has changed his life. As for the opportunity, I started sharing with friends and family right away because I was so excited to feel like myself again and have all these positive changes and the positive changes in my son. So I started telling everybody that I came into contact with it. Like every day, what do you know about CBD? That's the question that I ask everybody that I meet. I wish I really had enough time to tell y'all how much this has helped my extended family, my parents, and other loved ones, but we don't have time for that. So it's what makes it easy to show up every single day. When I say that it's life-changing, it has literally been life-changing. And everybody needs to know how amazing these products can be for them and for their family. And I do believe that in my heart. Throughout my career, I watched a lot of children struggle and a lot of parents struggle trying to help their children. And I quickly became passionate about helping other mamas struggling like I was. Every mom needs to know that there is another way, a safer way to help their babies, to help themselves, and to create a life of freedom that they can be more present and more available for their family, which is something that I didn't have, working full-time as a teacher and a son that was struggling. So quitting my job was never my intention, but God had other plans. I was praying for change, and here it was on my doorstep. Something I could believe in wholeheartedly. I can't even say it enough. I believed in this wholeheartedly. It was something I could put my name behind to help others. That's where my passion comes from. I decided to take a leap of faith, and what I felt in my heart was the right decision. So I resigned from my teaching position after only 3 weeks with Green Compass, leaving behind my 13-year career that I worked for my entire life. And all my student debt. I made the decision to go all in and share Green Compass with as many people that would listen. I was struggling at rock bottom, and now I feel like I'm flying on mountaintops with excitement. We are positively changing lives, y'all. Every phone call, every text, and every post that we create, you never know who is struggling. You never know whose life you're gonna change. This has changed my entire life in such a short time frame. I will forever be grateful for Jennifer picking up the phone to make a call to an old colleague to tell about this opportunity. And then my friend Tamara that shared it with me, I'll forever be grateful. So just because she decided to make that phone call and my friend decided to bring it up in a conversation with me, my entire life changed in less than a month. There's so many people struggling like I was, and so I use that as my motivation each and every day because we have a gift to offer, a life-changing gift. We have a product card that has somebody holding a little jelly, and it says, tiny product, big impact. You sharing with a stranger is the same thing. Coming out of your comfort zone to bring up what you have to offer is a tiny thing that can have a big impact on someone's life. So the next time you're nervous, and you don't know if you want to bring it up in the conversation because it might be awkward, think about the what if. What if you changed somebody's life? What if you just simply bringing it up literally changes their entire life, like it did for me? That's powerful, and that keeps me showing up. I let my excitement shine through when I talk to others, because it's something to be excited about each and every day. When I think back at how my life has changed, what it's been like since just the August of last year, August 25th, last year, I'm in awe at how far we have come emotionally, mentally, and financially. This opportunity, like I said, is a blessing, and I'm so thankful that the Lord put it on my path, because I do believe that is why I'm here, through prayers. Everybody says that everything happens for a reason, and so I believe that me going through all of those struggles was necessary for me to be able to relate to the people that I do now and help share this God-given gift of Him. So showing up every day, keeping the excitement has definitely paid off. I hit Master Director in my first 12 weeks of sharing. I follow up with everyone unapologetically. I believe in my heart that we can help them. I know we live in a digital world, but never underestimate a glass of wine and some cheese and crackers in somebody's living room. I schedule pop-ups right away. So when I get a new advocate, I do a lot of get-togethers, whether it's a pop-up at their house, it would be in a coffee shop, any way that I can get in front of them personally. That's what I'm shooting for. And I push my advocates to do the same. I meet them where they're living. Some people don't always want to have a big group of people, and maybe it's just a friend or two at a time, and so I go. And sometimes I miss bedtime. Sometimes I miss the story at night. But I know that I'm building something that they'll benefit from in the long run, in the future. And so short-term sacrifice for long-term gain never leaves my forefront. That mom guilt can be something else if you let it get to you, and I still do. Nobody's perfect. But sometimes we have to make sacrifices to get where we want to be. And so that is what I've led with as a mom, doing this and meeting out and meeting with other people. So what am I grateful for? I am most grateful for being a better version of myself, for being a better wife, and a better mom to the children. I am grateful that I have more patience. I am less stressed. I'm not an emotional mess all the time anymore, and I smile a lot more than I have in the last 5 years. I'm grateful for my son's improvements, the positive impacts on our family and the families that we're helping. I'm so grateful for. And last, but certainly not least, I am grateful to be able to work from home and be more present with my family. I'm definitely just getting started and could be more excited to where this journey is going to take us. And there are so many more people to help, especially in Louisiana, where I'm from. The newness of this is so exciting. And it's going to be new for a long time. There's just so many people that don't know that their life's about to change, and so that's exciting. Walking away from my career was easier than I thought. I have zero regrets. I'm still an educator. I'm just educating on something different. So if I can do it, so can you. Change can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. I always have told my students, life is what you make it. And so don't let the fear hold you back from making the life that you want. This opportunity provides the capability to make a better life while positively changing lives of the people that you meet along the way. And it doesn't get better than that at all. So make a decision of what you want this to be. Believe in yourself. Go all in. Keep your excitement. Be confident. And you will move.